All right, so yesterday evening, yesterday night, we were able to change the blades on this Kuhn hay cutter, as well as get some new gear oil and new gear oil drain plugs on the bar on this cutter. So all in all, this cutter should be ready for hay season, assuming we don't have any unexpected breakdowns. Um, so the order of business for today is going to be replacing the. Let's see, which way does this go? Oh, there it goes. Replacing the belts on this Vermeer baler back there. So currently there's no belts on it. We snapped 4 belts at one time a few years ago. It's just been sitting ever since. So about a week or two ago, I took the remaining 2 belts off, removed a roller that had some bad bearings, and took it to a Vermeer dealership and had them put new bearings in it. So today we're going to put the new roller back in, put the new set of belts on, grease it up, and it should be ready for hay season. So first order of business, get this hay cutter off the tractor and hook up to the baler. So let's get that out of the way. So if you've never worked on one of these cutters before or operated one, basically there's a few positions that this mower will lock into for cutting or transportation. So right now, as it kind of stands up tall, it's in, I guess, what you would call transport mode. And the way it locks into that is it's got these pins and things, and these kind of spring-loaded latches that lock into place. There's supposed to be a rope, and you can kind of see the remnants of it here. There's a rope that kind of routes through here. I don't remember the exact way it goes, but it'll come here and then it'll go into your cab. And what you can do is you pull on it, and it'll raise or lower these as needed. And then you can, raise or lower your mower with the hydraulics. But since that's rotted off, I kind of just took a piece of hay string, pulled it up some, and tied it off here. So hopefully this should let me lower it down with the hydraulics without having to, get my wife to come out here and hold this up for me. So let's see if it works. And magic, just like that. All right, let's just disconnect this mower real quick. Nice. Yeah, it should be good. I'm not even gonna bother with that right now. If we don't need it. So like I mentioned, there's a roller that goes right here that I've taken out to have the bearings replaced. Really, these bearings probably need to be replaced. Maybe these ones are on their way out, but they're all right. The biggest problem, I think, is going to be that this is the belt tensioner, and it's down currently, all the way down, and it's supposed to be up there. So I don't think, with this in its current position, I don't think I'm going to have enough slack to run the belts everywhere they're supposed to go. So somehow we've got to figure out a way to pick this back up there, and I don't know how that's going to happen. I've tried ratchet straps, not strong enough. My dad does have like a boom, not a basically like not a boom, like a come along. It's supposed to be like 2.5 tons. That might work, but I'd have to go pick it up from his truck. Or what's probably going to happen is we're going to take the front end loader, we're going to unhook from the baler, and be very careful around this tailgate. after it's unhooked from the tractor and there's no, you know, outside pressure holding the hydraulics together. Be very careful about this gate so we don't get pinched in half. Even though I do have the safety thing switched on, you never know. But unhook from the baler, bring the front end loader around, run a chain down here, and then see if we can pick it up slowly and then chain it around the frame up there and hold it while we put the belts on. Is that going to work? I don't know. There's only one way to find out, though. All right. So I may have a solution for how we're going to get that belt tensioner up to the top of this without having to unhook the tractor and use the loader and go through all that. I don't know if it's going to work, but it might. So I was thinking, what if we temporarily use that chain kind of like a belt? So my idea is lower the gate, take the lock off, get back in the tractor, lower the tailgate, and that will bring these bars closer down here. We can run that chain around this roller and then around that bar up there from the frame. And then ever so slowly, we can open the tailgate again. And hopefully, we just have to be careful we don't tear anything up. Hopefully, as that goes up, it will pick this up while it's attached to the chain. So I'm going to start the tractor, lower the gate, and we'll see what happens. We're going to try to chain this up with me getting in between this gate as little as possible because I really don't want to get pinched in half. It's not, oh my goodness. There's a new wasp nest on there after I killed them all last week. That should take care of them. Hopefully they're the only ones that have moved in since I last worked on this. It's kind of hard to climb up here in the blue jeans. Oh. Oh, I don't like that. All right. Let's keep our fingers crossed that A, this works, and B, we don't break anything. Don't really think I'm seeing anything move. Did I mean to throw it around that one? I think I threw it around the wrong roller. Or the round, yeah, I did. Okay, let's put it back down and try it again. Let's try this again. Well, that seems to have worked. Not high enough, but like I said, we're gonna have to alternate chains here. So what we're gonna do, and it didn't tear that up, so we're in good shape. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna get a second chain, throw around those same well, no, that won't work, will it? How do you hold the slack? Okay, I think I see. So if we run the second chain to here, because this doesn't move very much. So if we run the second chain from this roller to that pole on the frame, when we let the tailgate down, that's not going to move. So it should hold the slack. It should hold this right here. We can let it down, undo this chain, suck all the slack out of it now that this is moved up, and then repeat this a few more times. I think that's going to work. Whatever. Let's let it down and we'll see what happens. That seems to have worked. try it again. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. Now, I feel like that is high enough. I'm pretty sure that's high enough. So, we should now be at no risk of that belt tensioner swinging down and crushing us, because that chain is tight, that chain is tight. So if something gives way, we at least have 2 fail safes. All that's left now, well, the big part is left now. It's not all that's left, but the troubleshooting should be done. Now we just have to get the roller put back in, which I'm going to have my wife's help for, because I'm going to have to, the roller's very heavy, so I'm going to have to hold it in place inside while she screws the nuts back on, and we'll tighten it down and it should be good. I guess I can kill the tractor now. I'm paying $5 a gallon for diesel just to let it run like that for no reason. So what we have to do now, really quickly, is take these dust covers, take that bolt off, put these dust covers back on each side, and then throw it back in the baler. Should be good. 1 1/8. That's what it is. So just take that out. Just pop that right over it. Yeah. Nice. That'll help, should help protect that bearing from just being open to a lot of dust, you know. Oh, look at that. Shaft comes right out. Didn't do that before. This one might be a little wallered out. It's not fitting our 1 1/8. It's not good. It ain't 1 1/4. It's 1 1/8. And don't pretend that you're not. We might have to take a grinder to make that fit. I really hate to do this and introduce a lot of metal shavings into that bearing. End up making it fail prematurely, but I don't really have much option. I just hit it with a grinder for a little bit, see what happens. So I think what had happened is when I was pounding on this with the hammer trying to knock these bearings out, I think it kind of mushroomed out, and that's why it's not fitting anymore. And we just keep touching it up with the grinder and hopefully we'll get it. Got it. Nice. And not too much play in it either, hopefully. Doesn't look like it anyways. Let's see if we can just zip it off. All that work just to get this little bolt out. All right, now it's time to get my wife out here for some help. So I'm going to be in the middle holding it in place. What I need you to do, through this hole, you're going to have to make sure there's no wasps. I don't see any. You're going to have to kind of guide me if I'm like a little this way, and I want you to put it in there and turn it this way, righty-tighty. Hold that. And then same thing on the other side. Oh man, why are you doing this to me? Oh no.
You said I was supposed to twist it.
You know, yeah, you did it just well, like I told. Yeah, you did it right, perfectly. Up. All right. So like I mentioned, the belt diagram I had was on my phone. And since my phone is doing the recording, it's kind of hard to do both at the same time. So what I did was I just stopped recording for a little bit so I could take my phone, look at the diagram, and I went ahead and put on the long belt, one long belt, and one short belt, because all these belts are not the same length. There are 3 short ones on this model. I think they're 522 inches. And there are 3 long ones, which are, I believe, 533. Let me get the paper, actually. I'll tell you. So I ordered these from America's Seed and Belting. And would you believe it? 6 of these cost me, it doesn't say on here, but it was about $2,200 for all 6 of these belts. So they're not cheap. So I want to make sure that I put them on right and nothing gets tore up. That's an expensive mistake. So yes, these belts, the long ones, are 6.8 inches wide by 533 inches long. The short belts are 6.8 inches wide by 522 inches long. So yeah, I was right. But so I went ahead and got one of each on here. So instead of having to follow the diagram, which is a little hard to do anyways, I can just look at the one example I have set up and follow it along, which is a lot easier. But since I had all the belts taken off, I didn't have a reference point. Um, Another interesting thing, it's not long, short, long, short, long, short. It's not, it's, I don't know why. It's just the way it is. It is long, short, short, long, short, long. So another thing to watch out for. So I'm going to go ahead and slap these last 4 bales on, which is easier said than done, but we should be good. We should be smooth sailing from here on out. So let me go ahead and grab another short belt, since that's what goes next, and we'll get it thrown on there. Oh, these aren't light either. They're about 45 pounds each. And this is how they arrive shipped. Oh, and one more small thing you got to pay attention to, which I don't know the consequences for getting it wrong, but I'd rather not find out. There are 2 sides to these, obviously, but there's 2 textures. So there's a rough, coarse side, and there's a smoother, finer side. I don't know what the difference is, but if memory serves correct, and my dad did, he confirmed it, he said the same thing. If you're looking at the baler from the rear, this rough side is facing you. So I'm just making sure I put it on that way, and hopefully all ends up okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this one thrown up there. One thing, if you ever find yourself putting belts on a baler, that I recommend, again, not that I'm a professional, obviously, but when you go from one roller to the next, pull all of the slack that you can out and past the roller that you're working on, because if you get them all strung up here, and then you got a little bit of, a couple inches of slack between every roller that you put it around, when you go to connect it right here, you're not going to reach. So just be sure to pull out the slack when you can, like I'm doing right here. Really, it seems like these belts, the short belt and the long belt, what's going on here? There we go. It seems like they follow almost the exact same route, except for, I think they're only different around one roller. And hopefully we did it all right, which we'll find out when we switch it on. In case you're wondering, maybe you've never done this before, you're wondering, well, how do you connect the 2 ends, right? How does that work? So we've got these, it might be hard to see from that far. I think these are called like the alligator staples or alligator clips, something like that. Whatever it is, I know from what other people have told me, this is the kind you want and not the stitching or whatever the other option is. Because while this might be a little bit more expensive from what they've told me, it's much stronger, and you don't want to be breaking belts in the middle of hay season. Because I mean, I don't want to be breaking belts outside of hay season, but certainly not while I've got hay on the ground. Anyways, so these see if I can get one over here. So these belts, these clips, they're slotted, right? So each you got a set, and they fit between each other. You take these little small rods and you just feed it. Well, it's a lot harder than just putting it in there because they like to hang up. These are kind of keyed, so they like to hang up. I usually just take a hammer and pop it on there, and it's not too bad. Getting them out is the problem because these staples will have made deep what do you call it, like a deep impression on it, I guess. So it really wants to hold on, and a lot of times they'll be broken in pieces, so you have to get it out in small pieces. So let's see if we can't get this on there. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, this is my first time actually using the piece that comes with belts because I've never bought a new set of belts before. But uh, if you don't have these on hand, you can take a welding rod, like a small welding rod, and knock all the flux or whatever it's called off of it, and just cut it to size. And that's usually what we end up using. But this time we got the actual thing, so hopefully these won't break like the welding rods usually do. Nice. Like I said, I normally just take my hammer, give it a little tap, just tap it in, tap it in. There. And if it fights you, as you can see, I had a can of WD-40. If it wants to fight you, especially if you're taking it out, kind of spray a little WD-40, just kind of lube it up a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier. But one thing I actually just came up with for removing them, because I had routed this belt wrong up top. I missed the top roller, so I had to take it out. But it, like I said, it's slotted, so it refuses to come out easily. If you can just like punch it out a little bit to where you can get the chuck of a drill on it, you can honestly just suck that chuck down onto it and back it out like a screw. Worked super good. So from now on, that's going to be my preferred method of removing them. But just a little tip that I found. All right, next one should be a long one, 533. So let's go ahead and get it. That was easy. All right. So that is 4 belts. We're almost done. Just 2 more. However, show you over here. We are gonna just walk through spider web. As you can see, we're running out of room to put our belts up there with our slack system. So what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to take one of those chains off, move it to the other side between the belts, and then we can put the last two on. But before we do that, I am in desperate need of an Advil and a water break because I have got a throbbing headache because it is hot and humid, and this is a lot of work. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll be right back. All right, we've had a long enough water break. Let's just get this over with so I can take a shower and a nap. So we're going to take that far chain off, move it over here between these belts, and then close the gate some to give some slack in that chain, and we can take it off. All right. Start the tractor up and close it. So we might actually have to do one more tensioner cycle to get enough slack in it. Should be able to put those belts on now. It's like a McDonald's jungle gym. Just don't know. I can do it. Woo, there we go. Whoa. That one had some recoil on it. All right. Now, finally, we are on to the last belt. And I pray to God that I have done all this correctly. Otherwise, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Oh, my goodness. Oh, apparently this Baler comes with a built-in hammock. You know, it's actually not half bad. If it wasn't a million degrees in here, I'm basically sitting in a metal oven. As you can tell, I'm quite hot today. All right. Oh, stand up without falling through. Man, I just started thinking this would be some terrible Final Destination stuff. Inside these belts, and somehow the tractor, the PTO kicks on. Ooh. All right. Okay, so now the question is how to get that chain off. Let's let the tailgate down a little bit. See if we can't get it off. Okay, we got slack. Nice. Now the problem I'm noticing is we don't have tight belts. That's an issue. I'm not entirely sure what's causing it. I'm gonna cycle it. I'm gonna let it down all the way and pick it all the way back up. We'll see if that helps anything. I hope it does. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think what needed to happen was I think the baler needed to open all the way so that way these belts could take up more slack and tighten down on that belt tensioner. Or I'm just spewing you know what out of my you know what and I don't know what I'm talking about, which is very possible. In fact, probably likely. But everything seems to be correct. Yeah, yeah. Now the question is, if I kick that PTO on, what's going to happen? I don't like, and I don't know if you can see it from all the way over there. I'm not wild about the gap between those belts, but 4, 5, 6, yeah, that's all of them. But that should even out. once I kick it on. So I guess let me get all these tools out of the way, these chains. I'm gonna get all that hay string that I cut off out from under it. I'm gonna kick the PTO on and hope that these belts don't snap. But before we do that, I think it might actually work a lot better if you hook the Baler PTO up to the tractor. I'm not confident, but I'm 40% sure. I gotta kind of get it unseized because it sat for a few years. So I'll go ahead and just bring you over there so you can kind of see how I do this, which is not really the best way to do it, but it works. All right, so basically what I do here is I think this one's still seized up. Yeah, is taking spray it with a little WD-40. Really, I have PB Blaster, so I should probably just go get that. But give that shaft a nice rinse down with that, nice and lubricated. I know some people throw a fit when you use WD-40 as lubricant, but for something like this, it works, okay? I just take a little hammer, and you want to be careful what you hit on these PTO shafts because they're very expensive, but this little collar right here should be okay. We'll just give it some taps. Not that one. You might be able to set it on that. Give it a few taps. See, it's coming. Just kind of keep foaming it down. Shaft could really be cleaned. Probably what it really needs. Take a little brass wire brush to it. Clean all that gunk off. You just kind of work it. Spray it with a little more. It doesn't take a whole lot of work most of the time. I mean, as you can see, I've already got it freed up. And then, oh, good Lord. This one might actually be the hard part. I'm going to hit that with a little WD-42 so it slides on that PTO a little bit easier. Give that collar a little magic sauce. Might encourage it to cooperate just a little bit. Oh, man. Then pull back on it real good just to make sure it's locked because you don't want it to start spinning and then come off and go tear itself up. Get that out of the way. Let's get this computer wire out of the way. That'd be all right. And then it should be good. All right, now let's kick the belts on and see what happens. Thought I heard it have some kind of weird hiccup. Didn't sound right. Thought I was going to have to run over there and shut her down. But everything seems to be working just fine. I mean, I think it's going to work. Obviously, it's not greased up. The chains aren't lubricated, so I'm going to park it under the barn, let it sit till it's time to bale, and then day before I bale, make sure I grease everything on the baler, lube the chains real good. Might change some teeth on the pickup rail, but unless there's any that are real bad, just use it as is and just pray to God that it holds together. All right, we'll go ahead and close it, let it run closed for a second, and I'm gonna shut her down. I don't know, something didn't exactly sound right, at least to me, I thought. But when I closed it, I mean, nothing smells like it's getting too hot, so I'll kick it back on. Just jump out real quick, listen to it, watch it, and we'll see what happens. All right. I mean, I think it's good to go. Belts look fine. I mean, it didn't run for that long, but nothing smells hot. I should probably do it right now, but I might do it tomorrow. And if so, I'll video that as well. Got a laser thermometer. Well, I might need to grease it before I do that because they're all going to be running a little hot without any grease. But so I have a laser thermometer, and this is something my dad's always talked about, but we've never done it. So I know I just rolled all the bearings, all the rollers to check the bearings, kind of see are there any going out, what needs to be replaced. And I did replace the one that the bearings were definitely shot, and that was the roller that we put back on today. That being said, it's still probably a good idea to kick it on. And I'm guessing I don't know if you just let it idle. It's be a question for the old man. You let it idle, or do you run it at operating speed for 30 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever. Basically, yeah, probably operating speed. That would make sense because you got to get the bearings and everything up to operating temperature. And once it's running like that, you take that laser thermometer and you do your best because you can't stick your arm in there, but you do your best to hit all of the rollers where the bearings sit and see what kind of temperature they're reading, and if any of them are extraordinarily hot, then it's very likely that that bearing is going out, and we should replace that before we catch our baler, our tractor, and our hay pasture, and our house, and the cows, and everything else on fire. So we'll probably do that tomorrow. And like I said, if we do, I'm sure I'll video that. But in the meantime, I'm actually not going to clean up. That's a tomorrow problem. I'm going to get some much deserved rest. Alrighty, well, see you at the next one.